Chapter 14. I arrive at Lily's front gate. All the lights are on and I can hear music playing inside. I go up to the door, avoiding what is unmistakably a massive pile of Jeffrey's shit in the middle of the footpath. I stand on the doorstep, taking deep breaths, trying to calm my nerves and fake some confidence. Eventually I'm as ready as I'll ever be, so I step forward and knock on the door 3 times, my heart racing 1 billion miles an hour. From inside the house I hear voices and footsteps coming down the hall. The door opens to reveal Lily, standing there, smiling warmly at me, dressed in a beautiful blue dress, her hair straightened and wearing makeup. "Hey you," she smiles eagerly, embracing me. "We've been waiting for you." "Are Diana and George here?" I ask stupidly, my nerves getting the better of me. "Of course," Lily says, a bemused expression on her face. I glance around awkwardly, as Lily stares fondly at me. "How do I look?" "Like you've made a real effort," she says. "You'll be fine, stop being a wuss. They'll judge you far less than you think they will. Just be yourself." Lily takes my hand and leads me down the hall to the kitchen. A man is standing at the bench top, cooking. He's tall, clean-cut, and slightly gangly, wearing glasses and a shirt with a tie. He has hazel brown eyes and curly brown hair. He looks businesslike, professional, but a bit artistic too. The man turns to greet us. "Jason, my boy," he says warmly, extending his hand. "How are you? We're very excited to finally meet you." "I'm all right, thanks. George? That's great. I'm excited to be here." Lily drifts behind me and pinches me subtly on the bum, causing me to blush. "That's great, mate," George says. "Lily's told us so much about you. It's great to finally meet you in person. I'm just cooking up a nice ravioli. You like it?" Yeah, I reply, knowing full well I've never tried it in my life. "She's just down the local getting a Sangiovese. She'll be back shortly." I glance at Lily searchingly. "Wine," she mouths at me and indicates for me to sit down on a kitchen stool. Lily takes the one beside me, sipping on her orange juice and placing her hand on my knee. "So, Jason," George prompts casually, stacking up the dirty dishes. "How's school going?" All right," I lie. "Just plodding along, trying to get the best grades I can." George nods encouragingly. "Yeah, in the end that's what school's all about. Just try your hardest and you'll do all right in the end." I raise my glass to him. I'm starting to like George. He seems like a genuinely nice, positive guy. Clearly Lily gets her personality and good nature from him. I hear a key go in the front door and it swings open. George glances up. "Ah, looks like the mistress of the house has arrived," he grins cheekily. "Prepare your best curtsy." Lily giggles and I titter nervously as we hear footsteps down the hallway and a woman appears. Jason, you're here," Diane says, beaming. "I just popped down the shops and you wouldn't believe the queue." She places a paper bag containing 2 bottles of wine on the counter and kisses her husband on the cheek. "What card did you use, hon?" George inquires softly. "Masters, but guess who I saw while I was waiting there?" "Who?" "Gina, from my old tennis days. She and Peter are going to rent a camper van and travel around the country." "Fantastic. What a delightful idea," George says. "Which one's Peter again?" "Second husband, the accountant." "Ah, of course." Lily and I sit there listening to their back and forth, smiling and nodding. To me it's like they're speaking a different language. I don't know anything about MasterCards or tennis days or second husbands called Peter who are accountants. The more I listen to their conversation, the more I learn about them and how utterly different their lives are to Robert, Sarah and me. This is what I want. This is what people mean when they talk about domestic bliss. And so we get home after a long weekend. George is rocking back and forth on his chair, almost spilling his wine on the floor as he struggles not to burst out laughing before the story is told. And we turn into the street, only to see smoke and flashing lights coming from our house. Lily and I nod along encouragingly. Diane sits back sipping on her drink as if she's heard the story 100 times before. Turns out, Jono's bloody passed out and left the oven on and almost burnt down the entire neighbourhood. George slams his fist down on the table and cracks up, causing the cutlery, glasses and finished plates of food to rattle on the table. "Yeah," George muses. "We lived in some real interesting joints when we were younger, that's for sure." The laughter subsides into gentle silence. "So where do you live now, Jason?" Diane asked me over the rim of her glass. "Somewhere in the local area, I presume." I nod, taking a sip of water. "Not that far from here," I reply. "Just a few streets back from the park." "On our side?" "No, the other." "Which street?" "Well, I don't really live on a street. I'm on the 8th floor of the commission block. The flats? Yeah. Diane shoots a look in Lily's direction. And what's it like living in the flats, Jason? They're okay, I guess. Gets a bit noisy there. Something is always happening, you know? What, you mean like crime? A shot of nervous energy hits me and I fiddle with the thread of my hoodie. No, I just meant, Lily shoots Diane a hard look, but she ignores it. So, what do your parents do for a living? George asks, trying to steer the conversation away from its current course. Well, my mother's not around anymore. She left your father? No, she died in an accident. Oh, you poor dear, Diane says with genuine sympathy. It's okay, I lie. I'm over it now. Diane nods and Lily takes my hand underneath the table. I always hate telling people about Mum. The awkward silence, the way they apologise. It's not people talking about it I don't like. It's their politeness, how they say they're sorry when really, they don't give a shit. So, George says, your father, what's he do for a living? I look away then mumble. Well, he's currently looking for work. He's unemployed, Diane says, obviously shocked. Yeah, well, currently. I nod, wincing, wishing I'd just lied and said he was a labourer or something. Diane sits back assessing me and George stares at his wine glass, but Lily looks defiant. George swishes his wine round in the glass. So Lily tells me you have a younger sister, Jason. I know it's always been Lily's dream to have a sibling, especially a younger sister. Lily squeezes my hand under the table. And thanks to Jason, I have one. I nod. Yeah, Sarah's beautiful and she's incredibly smart. She's definitely going to go a long way in the world. Diane smiles sympathetically at me, like a mother smiling at a little kid who doesn't yet understand the true nature of the world. I'm starting to dislike Diane. So who are your friends at school, Jason? Diane asks. Lily told me a lot of your friends don't go to Cade Street. I think about answering politely, democratically, but I'm sick of this bullshit. All this crap I have to go through just to be accepted by these people. To prove I'm good enough. Well, a lot of my mates actually don't go to school, I challenge Diane. Really? Why? Diane asks, a little shocked. How can I explain to these people what my life is like? How Robert, Sarah and the guys and I live? They won't understand. How can they? You can never really understand something until you experience it. Well, most of my mates don't see any value in it, I shrug. Diane blinks, struggling to process the information. Her nostrils flare and I feel a sharp pain in my hand as Lily pinches me under the table. There's an awkward silence. So, Jason, what subjects do you do? George says, changing the conversation. I lean back in my chair. Pretty much the same ones as Lily. English, maths, science and humanities, and for electives, media and wood. I thought you did 3 electives in year 10, George observes. Oh, you do? I confirm quickly. I just failed art and haven't bothered picking up another one. Lily winces and I realise I'd said the wrong thing again. George lets out a very delayed chuckle. Haha, very good. I don't know what the hell to say to these people. All they seem to want is for me to tell the right lies. Diane forces a smile through pursed lips. So what do you want to be when you leave school, Jason? What subjects are you going to take next year? I pause. I struggle to see the point in completing year 10, let alone year 11. Yeah, well, honestly, I'm not really sure. I'm kind of thinking about dropping out or getting a job, moving out. A look of pure horror crosses Diane's face and she glances from Lily to her husband to Lily again. And then I see it, a look I've seen 100 times before. A look that screams, "You're not good enough." My heart lurches as it dawns on me what's coming. Diane turns to Lily. Lily, could you step into the study with me? Why? Just come, please. All right, I'm coming. Lily squeezes my hand under the table and gets up to follow her mother into the study. George starts cleaning up the plates as if nothing's happened. From down the hall comes voices. Lily and Diane are arguing in heated whispers, their voices slowly getting louder as emotion takes hold. I shut my eyes, wanting desperately not to hear the words coming out of Diane's mouth. A complete failure, thinking of dropping out? He's not, Mum. He just says dumb stuff without thinking. He's actually really smart. Are you serious about this, Lily? Do you honestly want to end up with someone like that? I don't give a fuck what you think, Mum. I like him. He's just never had it easy. Don't you speak to me in that way. Why do you dislike him? You don't even know him. I know that kind of person, Lily. For God's sakes, I'm 49 years old. So, what the hell do you know, Mum? I know that kind of person does not end up okay. His father's unemployed, and I bet you any money his son ends up a bludger too. Fuck you, Mum. How dare you speak to me like that? Go to your room. With every word, I can feel my hand tightening on the edge of the table. George has retreated to another room, discreetly avoiding the conflict. Footsteps sound down the hall and Lily storms through the door. There are tears in her eyes and she has an exhausted, defeated look about her. She flings her arms around me, kissing me passionately on the lips. I'm really sorry, she says, her eyes wet, then turns and exits the room. Would you like me to drop you home? I guess you're probably big enough to look after yourself. Her emphasis on the word big makes it impossible for me to mistake what she's really saying. I stand up. You know what? I confront Diane. Fuck you, you stuck-up judgmental old cow. Diane's face goes white. She isn't expecting this. Excuse me? You heard, I tell her. Fuck you. How dare you? How dare I what? Swear? Cause trouble? I heard what you said to Lily. I heard every fucking word. Diane struggles to respond, but I'm fired up as hell. I'm sick of it. Sick of all the bullshit. What are you so angry about? What are you so angry about? Diane demands, stepping towards me. Are you fucking serious? Do you honestly not know? You've got something seriously wrong with you. This kind of anger isn't normal. Fuck you, dumb bitch. Don't you swear at me, you animal. George appears and steps in between Diane and me. Jason, calm down and just leave, he says, trying to defuse the situation. I like George, but I'm so wired up and on edge, I'm prepared to lash out at anything in reach. Fuck off, old man. What the fuck did I ever do to you? You're an animal, snipes Diane. Fuck off, I yell. I'm calling the police unless you get out of my house right now. Go on then. Just go, Jason, George urges. I pause, realising I should take his advice before I do something really stupid. I gather up my stuff and stride down the hall to the front door, just as Lily comes down the stairs. What's going on? She demands. Nothing, I lie. I'll see you tomorrow. Oh, no, you won't, Diane yells from down the hall. Lily, you're not to see him again. I don't reply, just head straight for the front door. I storm out the front gate and down the street. They don't understand where the anger comes from. Neither of us is wrong or right, good or bad. We just grew up in two different worlds.